I grew up in Wisconsin, so I always knew that it was kind of an idea that I had that I could move over here.
One role that I don't think you imagined when you came to Fox-Pitt eventing is that you have been appointed chicken monitor.
That is the worst thing to tell William when he comes back. I'm very sorry, we've lost a chicken.
Brilliant to have you part of the team. You bring so much to it, and we have to say that nickname is the Tron. Today's Meet the Team is Lexi Scovil, US ace jockey, and great to have you here. So tell us a little bit about your background, because when people hear you speak, it's clear that you're not from Dorset.
I am not from Dorset. I grew up in Wisconsin, and then as soon as I was done with school, I moved down to Florida, where I did horses for about 5 years, which was amazing. I don't love winter, so I really enjoyed being in Florida year-round, but it's been great to move over here and experience eventing in a new country.
So who are you working with in Florida?
So when I first moved to Florida, I worked with John Holling, who kind of was my coach from when I was 16 to about 23. And then I moved on from John to his coach, Leslie Law, and I worked for Leslie for about 4 years in Florida, and that was a really great experience to move. They run very similar programs, so it was really good to have kind of the continuity, but also the kind of step up in coaching. And then with Leslie's background in England, it's been a really easy step to come over here.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will know Leslie obviously as the gold medalist from the Athens Olympics, but maybe wouldn't know that he relocated to the States. So just tell us a little bit about Leslie's program in the States and what's he doing?
Leslie really is based in the, is focusing more on teaching right now. He has a couple horses, but he's doing a lot of teaching. He is the developing rider coach for the US program, so he really focuses on the riders that are under 18 and under 25. And he runs those programs, he teaches those kids a lot outside the programs. And then he has a few horses of his own, and he really only keeps the ones he really believes in. He just did his first 5-star in many years, this year at Kentucky. So it's fun to see him experiencing both sides of it and only riding the horses he wants to ride and really getting a lot out of teaching kids.
That's incredible. And what did you get out of working with Leslie?
He runs quite a different program than a lot of the Americans do, and it's a little bit more business-like, get down, just ride the horses as they are. And he does a lot of the road work and hacking that's so common over here. But he knows me so well. He's picked 2 horses for me now. He picked out the horse that I have now. And he was just amazing at letting me experience all the different aspects of the program. I worked for him, so I was in charge of managing his horses a bit, and he taught me about that aspect. But also he's very good at teaching lessons to those who work for him. So I could get 1 lesson a week, I could get 6 lessons a week. I got as much as I needed, and if I was struggling, he gave me 100% all the time, which I was so lucky to have, because not everyone's like that.
So why come to the UK? I mean, this is such a massive move. What made you come to the UK?
I think we have a pretty common idea in America that if you want to be at the top level of eventing, you need to move to Europe at some point. So I always knew that it was kind of an idea that I had that I could move over here, but it's quite difficult to do, having a horse and kind of having a program set up at home. So I wanted to do it before I set up my business full-time. I knew it was time to move on from Leslie's, and so I was struggling with what to do, and the job opening over here popped up, and I figured that would be the best next step for me. I'm not really quite ready to set up my own business yet. I want to learn from everyone before I do that, so it was a perfect time in my life before I'm stuck at home. I have 1 horse. It's easy to transport 1 horse, and it was just
You say that.
perfect.
It's easy to transport.
It's not inexpensive, but it's easy.
I mean, it's a massive thing for you. You've left your family, your friends, you've left the weather, and you've come to Dorset. Why specifically William?
There's the obvious. He for so long has been at the top of the game. I do think it's nice that it's more about the program and helping everyone versus just about his horses. He does have time for me to help me. I got a really good recommendation from my friend Andrew, who'd worked here before, who loved it over here, and he said if you have the opportunity, it's absolutely the best program. And not only do I get to learn from William, but I get to learn from Jackie, and they're really in the midst of everything. So you get a little bit of all of it, and it's also run kind of in a natural way, which I like. It's a little bit old school. The horses are really horses, and you know, I really appreciate that side of it as somebody who loves the horses for what they are.
And tell us a little bit about the Sprout. The Sprout, because I'm loving following your social media, and it's like very much you and Sprout on a journey, isn't it?
Yes.
What's your hashtag again?
Sprout and Lexi's Big Adventure.
That's it, Sprout and Lexi's Big Adventure. And it's really felt like that, hasn't it?
Yes, it absolutely has, and I've really come on it with him. I bought him at the end of his 6-year-old year. He did Lyon as a 6-year-old, and really he was such a great horse. I bought him off a video on Leslie's recommendation, and was just so lucky that he worked out for me. You know, we've really built a partnership. I think coming along, we've had some hiccups along the way, and there have been a couple times I worried that he was the wrong horse. But the more we work together, the more we really understand each other. And you hear all the time about the partnership mattering and the trust mattering, and he's the first horse that has really taught me what that means. As soon as he really started believing in me, he became a different horse. He jumps around for me, and I feel like he really loves it, and I just enjoy being along for that ride. You know, I like it when they feel like they enjoy the sport. And he's kind of a funny, cheeky horse, and we get along really well every day. You know, I like all aspects of him. He's fun in the yard, he's fun to school at home, and then he's amazing at the competitions.
But he's funny because he's so brave and cool cross country, and yet I see him walk down the lane, and it's like, oh, the little voices are only talking to me.
Absolutely, I truly believe there are voices in his head, and he's terrified on a regular basis. I can't make him walk through a puddle because he won't get his feet wet, but he'd never stop at a water jump. He's just such a funny horse that everything scares him until it matters, and then he's as brave as they come. He'd gallop down to any table and never take a peek. So it's just a funny, I think if I saw him as a young horse, I would have had a hard time buying him because I wouldn't have believed he was brave enough, but he absolutely is, and he goes and does the job.
He really is. I mean, he's one of the most talented horses I've seen in a long time. He's so gorgeous. Last year was a real block building year for you, wasn't it? Because for the first time you stepped into that 4-star level, and that was a massive eye-opener for you, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was such an amazing experience because I've had a lot of intermediate horses, and then for one reason or another, none of them have really wanted to be advanced horses. So it was a little nerve-wracking for me to come over at this point in my career where I have a horse that's gone intermediate, and he was ready to make the step, but I hadn't done it yet. So it was quite scary for me to ship him overseas, not knowing if he'd go advanced or not. So it's been so exciting for him to be really successful at that level, and to really teach me that it is all about kind of bold riding, and you just go get it, and the braver you are, the more likely it is to work out. It's just been a really different experience, and I'm actually feeling confident at the level now rather than just hoping it might work out.
Yeah, rather than just taking part. So you did Bramham and Blenheim. What's this year? Where are we going to follow you this year?
So I like to keep my plans very tentative because I know they can all go wrong at any point. Right now, the plan is to return to Bramham, do the 4-star long this year. I did the 4 short last year. And I'm very excited about that because I loved Bramham. The horse went really well there. I loved the atmosphere. So I'm hoping to have a good result there. And then best case scenario, we're aimed at maybe a 5-star in the autumn. That's all very tentative. If he says he's not ready, then he's not ready. He's only 10 this year. But I think that's plan A, and hopefully it works out.
And I'm definitely going to say, if the US team are watching, I think it would be great to see if you could get some Nations Cup experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always up for that. I think that he's a very good horse. I think he could contribute to a team. So hopefully they're interested. Hopefully that works out this year. And if not, we'll just keep plugging along until somebody's ready to see us.
What's the best thing about the job here?
I like a lot of the aspects of the job, and William's helpful and Jackie's helpful, but to me the best part is the real support you get from the team. I think it's a very conscious thing that I've gone to events on my own sometimes, and I get texts from everyone at the team, you know, cheering me on, encouraging me, being supportive when I've done well or when I haven't done well. You just get a lot of positivity from every person on the team, and that includes people that work here, the people that are renting stables. You know, it just really feels like a team environment.
What's the worst thing about the job?
Apart from the weather, hacking in the rain.
And just got to ask you, because it's something we're asking everyone, if you can't find William, where is he?
Well, with the chickens, of course.
And other thing is that one role that I don't think you imagined when you came to Fox-Pitt eventing is that when William goes away to 3 days and you're not with him, you have been appointed chicken monitor.
Yes, by default, I am now in charge of the chickens because I'm not afraid of the chickens.
Well, it's brilliant to have you part of the team. You bring so much to it, and we always love having our American friends here. But you and Sprout, it's been a great journey so far, and I know it's going to be even better. We can't wait to follow you.
Fingers crossed, it's worth following.
And we have to say that nickname is the Tron. Where did that come from?
Nobody can have their regular name here, so I became Lexi, which became Lexitron, which is now just Tron.
Can I just quickly ask you on that note, this is Adam, isn't it? Because William is not somebody who goes for nicknames.
I will say the only one that doesn't call me Tron now is William.
Let's see if that changes through the year.
We'll see, he seems to be catching on.